Hello, everyone. Welcome to the beautiful Atlanta Motor Speedway for tonight's Beer Street Journal Grand National Series National Sim Racing Association race right here on 3Y TV. I am Peter Short, and joining me in the booth is Garrett Gleason. And Garrett, a little bit of a short race here tonight, only 120 miles, 80 laps around this mile-and-a-half racetrack here. Of course, this racetrack known as Hotlanta, one of the fastest racetracks that we come to all season long. It's going to be a lot of fun here tonight. The race track is usually hot and pretty slick, but we're hearing this setup is quite tight tonight.
Yeah, Peter, we're hearing a little bit about the setup being tight off the corner. I talked to multiple drivers before the race. Some of them seem to really like it. I think this setup's going to race really well on the long run, and that's what you're looking for at Atlanta. Other drivers can't seem to figure out how to make it go faster more in the lap, so it's going to be a fun race. It should be an exciting 80 laps. It might only be 80 laps, but it should be an action-packed 80 laps, so let's do it, buddy.
Yeah, and practice session wrapping up here. Just about half a minute left before we get into the Craig Setup Shop pole shootout here in the National Sim Racing Association Beer Street Journal Grand National Series. If you haven't checked out beerstreetjournal.com yet, make sure you do so because they are the place to check out if you're into craft beer. Great place to check out here while you're watching tonight's stream. Maybe sipping on a beer of some sort. We would be interested to know if you're sipping on some beverage here tonight while tuning in on 3Y TV. But like I said, practice wrapping up. Jeff Price fastest in the practice session here just as we go to the checkered flag state. The number 14, always fast at these mile-and-a-half racetracks, especially Atlanta Motor Speedway G. We've seen Jeff Price really fast here before. Maybe he can make it to victory lane here tonight.
Yeah, no surprise there, Peter. Like you said, Jeff Price always a contender at these mile-and-a-halves. And after last week, Peter, I think we've all found out that anything can happen in this series, this Beer Street Journal Grand National Series. The winner could be their first start, or it could be a veteran like Jeff Price. We'll see. But qualifying will set the stage. Let's see what these guys have as far as a hot lap goes.
Yeah, these drivers just now making their way out onto the racetrack here tonight, Atlanta Motor Speedway. There is the number 99, Philip Scott, the National Ninja League Ford Mustang, working his way onto the racetrack. Corey Shellman out there in the number 9 machine. I think the first one out there on the racetrack coming around to start his time lap is this driver right here, the number 69, Steven Lashinsky, in his Monster Jam Chevy Silverado. He's going to take time here at the start-finish line. We'll see what he can do on lap number 1. And Garrett, what do you think the strategy here to qualifying is going to be? Do you think you're going to want to run the high line on lap number 1, or do you think you're going to try and get all you can get on lap number 1 with how tight these race cars are?
Yeah, I think you're going to want to get up to speed very quickly and get that hot lap in on lap number 1. But we'll see as these guys put times in if that second lap becomes better. I'd be surprised if it did, Peter, but that's why we're up here. We're up here to commentate. We're also up here to learn. You don't know everything when you go into these events, and we're going to see here in a minute or two what these guys have.
Lap time should start trickling in here in just a moment. Big shout out to our friends over at craigsetupshop.co.uk for sponsoring the pole shootout. Currently was fastest for a brief moment. That was Corey Shellman in the number 9 machine. Good lap for him. But currently fastest is the 05 machine. John Freeman right there has 04 on the side of his Chevy Camaro, but 05 on the scoring pylon, and he ran a 31.93 on his first lap. We'll see if he can pick it up on lap number 2 here, working his way through turns number 3 and 4, coming to the stripe. And just seeing if anyone else is picking it up on lap number 2G. I think lap number 2 might be a little bit faster. We'll see whether or not that's the case for John Freeman as he comes across the start-finish line. It does not look like he will improve on lap number 2, at least for him. But definitely interesting to see some of these drivers out there as you see the times at the bottom of your screen. As we will cycle through the times here at the top of your screen. But things, well, maybe not exactly working out the way they typically do here on 3Y TV. Not exactly sure what's up with the ticker here tonight. It seems like it's got a little bit of a mind of its own. Maybe we'll need to restart the ticker, unfortunately. Sometimes it doesn't quite play nicely, and I think that's unfortunately what we're going to have to do here. Drew Eisenman goes 6th on the board. We'll try and restart the ticker at the top of the screen here as the qualifying session winds down. I'm not exactly sure what exactly it's doing. It's not picking up any times up there, so that's definitely odd. Drew Eisenman in the number 77 is going to be 6th on the board. Joshua Watt here in the DeWalt machine is going to go into 11th, and Travis White in the number 23, he's going to slot himself into... Well, he's in fact, I say that, he's coming around to complete his first lap right now.
Yeah, he's had a lot of speed this season, but he's also had a lot of bad luck, Peter. And I think the 23 of Travis White, the 77 of Drew Eisenman, the 99 of Philip Scott are guys that I'm waiting for, and also Race Clark and some others are guys I'm waiting for to break through and get that win here on 3Y TV in this series. These guys have been good all season long and just either been unlucky or just been close but no cigar. Maybe tonight is the night that we have a new winner here in this Beer Street Journal Grand National Series.
Well, let's see if the ticker up at the top of the screen is playing nice. No, it's still not receiving any data. That hopefully gets rectified at some point. I really have no idea why it's not displaying any times up there. It was displaying times in practice, so I do apologize for that here, folks. Play around with some... Well, it's definitely not under caution. Jeez. It's got a mind of its own here tonight. Really not sure what's up with the timing. I do apologize for that here, folks. But Garrett, we can say John Freeman fastest in qualifying. Excuse me, Corey Shellman second, Chris Darling, Philip Scott third and fourth, Justin White fifth in fifth, Josh Sobel sixth, Drew Eisenman seventh, Zach Howell. And as I say that, Maxwell Castro, the number 15 who got the win last week at Sonoma Raceway here, he's going to jump to the top of the board in the Next Level Racing, number 15.
Wow, continuing that momentum here at Atlanta, and this session's almost over, so that should stand, Peter, and he's going to be our pole sitter, correct?
Indeed, he will be. So right at the very end, the timer decided to display, so we'll hopefully let it do its thing here before we get to the start of the race. Good news, it looks like the ticker is actually working. But why don't we go through tonight's starting lineup here for the Atlanta 120 with Maxwell Castro on the pole by 22 thousandths of a second over John Freeman. Corey Shellman, Chris Darling will make up row number 2. Philip Scott and James Miller on row number 3 here tonight. Justin White, Josh Sobel rounding out your top 8. Drew Eisenman and Zach Howell rounding out your top 10 here in the Atlanta 120 in the Beer Street Journal Grand National Series.
Row 6, we have the 08 of Glenn Grimm, and to his outside, Race Clark, and the number 22. Row 7, we have the Canadian driver, Mike Floppy Tellier, and Brady Smith to his outside, and the number 10. Travis White will start pretty deep in the field, considering all the speed he's shown this year, and to his outside will be Ben Mashburn. Joshua Watt will bring the number 20 to the green flag in 17th position. Alongside him is Steven Lashinsky in the 69. Stephen Ford will start 19th in the number 27. Jeff Price will start in 20th position in the number 14. And Jason Shue rounds out your 21-car field here at Atlanta.
A little bit of a small field here tonight in the Beer Street Journal Grand National Series, only 120 miles, so we expect this race to zip on by. Big shout out to everyone in the chat here tonight, sticking things out with us here on 3Y TV before we get the Beer Street Journal Grand National Series underway. Should be, like I said, a lot of fun here at the racetrack that we call Hotlanta. Johnny Williams in the chat saying good luck all and hello to the booth. Rich Sobel in the chat saying, yeah, I thought I saw him in 5th. I guess he's 8th. Yeah, unfortunately, Sobel did drop there down to 8th. William Kerwin dropping in saying hello. Dirt's Game Cafe saying Xfinity cars at Atlanta should be a good race. Yeah, definitely should be a good race. I'm looking forward to this one here tonight. Garrett, you're in the chat, as always. Brantley Roden in the chat as well. How's it going tonight, Brantley? Great to see you back here on 3Y TV, the National Sim Racing Association. Jeffrey Vickery saying, let's go. Number 27 Ford here tonight. Of course, the Threat Level Midnight Machine. Rooting him on. And Jeffrey, shame you're not in the field here tonight there, buddy. Let us know if you're up to something fun there in the chat. Of course, you're on 3Y TV, so you're definitely having fun. That's how things go, right? Stay tuned, sports. Go in the chat saying, what's up, Drew in the booth? Of course, if you guys didn't get the memo last week at Sonoma, I kept calling Garrett Gleason Drew because of Drew Eisenman, who I have alongside me. And I have to say, Garrett, I've been commentating now with Drew for almost a year, so I think you should take that as a compliment that I'm getting you mixed up for Drew because, you're so good up here in the booth, right?
Oh, I'm one of the best, Peter, of Drew, Bob, I'm definitely at least third best of your permanent partners, and if we put the other guys there, maybe not. But Drew's better looking than me, more talented, and he's a better commentator, so I'll take it anytime I can get it. We're getting ready to go green, though, Peter.
Yeah, green flag out to wave here tonight. There it is. We are underway at the Atlanta Motor Speedway as they race towards turn number 1 for the first time here tonight. We've heard that this setup is rather tight, but we are going to be side by side. Speaking of tight, going off into turn number 1, and already a couple of drivers having to check up there. I think that was back around Corey Shellman. And look at this, G3 wide already on the backstretch as Corey Shellman gets put in the middle. Here comes the number 3 machine behind him, trying to get a good run. Drew Eisenman in the number 77, trying to put 3 wide. Now the number 97, Mike Floppy Tellier in the middle of 3 wide. Already things happening thick and fast at Atlanta.
Peter, I almost wanted to stand up from my seat here. This is so exciting. These cars are moving all over the track. These guys are hunting for position. They're hunting for the fast line, and we have battles all throughout the field. You couldn't ask for a better start to this race as far as action goes.
And how about this battle? This is the battle up at the front of the field. James Miller, the Canadian driver. We expect to see a lot out of James Miller here in this series. Newcomer to the series, but I'll tell you what, folks. I know James Miller, very, very fast race car driver in that 09 machine. I expect to see him up near the front in his Toyota Supra here tonight, tracking down John Freeman, and great to have him here in the series and here on 3Wide TV. Don't think we've ever had him on 3Wide TV before. Maybe going back a couple of years we did, but I expect good things out of this 09 machine. And of course, we've seen good things out of Maxwell Castro, who is currently leading in the number 15 Chevy Camaro. Last week, Garrett, I was extremely surprised. Came out of nowhere, out of the blue. First race, Sonoma gets the win. Beat out a very, very fast number 77 of Drew Eisenman. And Castro got that win. Here he is already leading. Of course, we're early here at Atlanta, but leading your opening 3 laps.
Yeah, no more surprise attacks from Max Castro. They know he's here now, Peter. They know he's a contender. And everybody in this field's going to be gunning for him as we see Ben Mashburn having a bit of an issue there, Peter.
Well, let's see if we can figure out what happened here to the number 24 machine, the MaxGrafix Chevrolet Camaro coming out of turn number 4 here on the front stretch. And, just gets into the outside wall right in front of Joshua Watt. In fact, Watt looks like he got some damage out of that mess. And Mashburn might also get a pit road speeding penalty from that as well. Not sure what happened there to the MaxGrafix number 24, or maybe just a little bit of a lapse in judgment, but he's out there with a lot of damage now on the right side of that number 24 Chevy.
Yeah, it's not gonna be a fun night for Ben Mashburn with that amount of damage. I guess he could hope for a yellow here, maybe get some of that fixed, but not a good start. Looks like he just got too tight and clobbered the wall. Good thing more guys weren't behind him there, Peter. That could have been catastrophic. As we look at a good battle between Drew and Justin White, and another battle here, Peter.
Yeah, this is the battle right now for second. We were talking about James Miller and how fast we expect him to be here in the National Sim Racing Association. He's now battling with John Freeman for that second spot. You can see quite a few battles happening around the racetrack in the back of the shot as well. Miller to the inside of the 04. Freeman trying to hold on the outside. And Garrett, we've heard this race car, this particular setup, of course, a fixed setup lead here in the Beer Street Journal Grand National Series, that all these drivers have the same setup. It's all tight, and maybe these drivers might struggle on the bottom side of the racetrack to make the pass.
Yeah, Peter, absolutely. It's going to be tough to make passes when you're tight on the bottom of the racetrack because you will run out of racetrack and push up into the car, especially if there's one on your outside. But these guys, we're going to have pit stops here with about lap 25, so the field might get spread out. So something to keep an eye on where these guys are running now, and as the fuel burns off to see if their line changes at all.
Yeah, we'll just see how these cars behave as they get further into the run. Here we got a side-by-side battle. Corey Shellman, who had such a great qualifying run, qualified up there in the 3rd position, now all the way back to the 15th spot. Racing here with Glenn Grimm, and man, I thought they'd make contact, and look at the National Air and Space Administration, number 22, Race Clark. He's getting completely sideways on the bottom side of the racetrack, maybe some right side damage on his Ford Mustang as he slides back to battle with the number 23 of Travis White. They're going to be side by side out of turn number 4. Corey Shellman side by side with Jeff Price. Fastest in practice earlier, Garrett, and that number 14 here just did not get a good qualifying run. And the back channel productions machine having to come from the back here to work his way up to the front. He started in 20th, now up to 16th, battling here for 15th, but he's going to duck back in line down the backstretch.
Yeah, he hasn't moved forward as far as I would have thought, Peter, but Jeff Price is, like we said earlier, a very talented race car driver. He might just be easing his way through the field as we continue to have a good battle up at the front of the field between those two. And look at the field going by. What a beautiful sight.
So right now, Maxwell Castro with the clean air on the front of the number 12 machine, maybe giving him a little bit extra downforce versus a lot of these other drivers. I mean, look how the back half of the pack is all closed up. We got one car going down below the apron. Not sure who that is. That is, of course, the number 3 machine here tonight. Not 100% sure who is.
That was Zach Howell, I believe. Zach Howell in a weird number there, Peter.
Yeah, so he's got number. And this is what's confusing here, folks. Is you'll see it up there on the ticker. Zach Howell has the number 85 on the scoring pylon, but the number 3 Oreo on the side of that machine. And of course, that is a throwback to a Dale Earnhardt Jr. scheme back in the early 2000s. Meanwhile, I think something just happened here to the number 2 of Justin White here. Gee, let's see if we can dial this one up here on the 3-wide TV replay. It all happened in turn number 1 and 2. Not sure if there was contact. Let's see. Right here, 97 of Mike Floppy Tellier gets to the inside of the 2. The 97 pushes up, maybe a little bit of neck code. A huge save from the number 2 of Justin White. 3 wide. Look at Brady Smith there and the John Deere machine sneaking up through the middle. But Justin White there losing a ton of track position on that 3-wide TV replay.
Yeah, that definitely could have been worse out there, Peter, because and they're two guys that I respect a lot racing with them, Mike and Justin. Obviously, they're not trying to make contact there. Like you said, it looked like some neck code was involved, and it's just unfortunate, but Justin's still moving here in the right direction. And again, pit stops are coming up. Maybe he could get some adjustments made.
So here we go. Battle between the 22 and the 23. They get awfully close there through turns number 1 and 2. They're still awfully close coming out of turn number 2. As Justin White there gets a little bit loose. Maybe Race Clark taking the air off the side of the Carolina Tar Heel colored number 23 machine. Justin White pushes up the racetrack. They make more contact between those two. And Race Clark here getting really thrown around early in the race. We're now coming to lap number 14. And gee, this race is going to go by very quickly as we're closing in here already on the 20% race distance.
Yeah, this race is flying by, Peter. And I started to get confused. I see cars getting moved up out of the way. I thought we were at Bristol, but that's tomorrow night, isn't it?
That is tomorrow night. Meanwhile, in the back of the pack, Joshua Watt, the number 20 DeWalt Ford Mustang, having an issue right there with the number 3 machine of Jason Shue. Let's see if we can go back maybe a little bit further. We kind of caught the back end of that incident, but Jason Shue maybe got a piece of that one. Let's see what happened right here. Turn number 1 and 2. The 20 of Joshua Watt pushes up the racetrack. Gee, we've heard this racetrack is extremely tight. The 20 getting up into the wall, bounces down into Jason Shue. Nowhere for Jason to go, and Joshua Watt has taken his machine to the garage here tonight.
That's a tough break for both those guys, and Josh wasn't trying to do anything there wrong. He was actually trying not to hit the 3 of Jason Shue, and Jason Shue's one of those guys that he shows up every week. He tries to stay out of everyone's way, learn, get better. He's actually a real-life race car driver. He's just getting new to the sim, and that's a tough break for him as well. I'm sorry to both those guys that their night's going to probably not be what they expected.
Meanwhile, Corey Shellman must have had a hardware failure or something, because he just dived it down to the bottom side of the racetrack and stopped down there and finally got back going. But the number 9 machine of Corey Shellman absolutely stopped out there on the racetrack. Meanwhile, Maxwell Castro up at the front of the field has got up to about a 1.4 second lead over the number 99 of Philip Scott. The number 11 of Chris Darling's up there as well. They have recently passed James Miller and John Freeman. I'm wondering here, Garrett, whether or not James and John's tires are kind of burned up at this stage of the run, because Scott and Darling able to get on by, and here comes Sobel starting to mix it up with Freeman.
Yeah, Peter, like I said earlier, when I was talking to these guys before the race, there were some guys that said, hey, I could go fast for a couple laps, and there's other guys saying, watch for me when these tires wear off. I know what I'm doing out there. I'm going to make some passes. And actually, Joshua Sobel was one of the guys I talked to that said that. He's like, I might not be fast early on, but keep an eye on me on these long runs. I'm going to make my positions up. And we're starting to see some of that throughout the field here.
Yeah, so sorry, folks, about the ticker. It has been giving us problems here tonight. I really don't know what it's doing. We had to restart it once. It might be an issue with the iRacing update. There was an iRacing update today. I just downloaded it, and it seems like it's doing odd things with the ticker. So until our software gets updated, there's nothing I can really do. Seems like maybe it's fixed. Hopefully it doesn't get stuck again. I apologize for it, folks. We'll try and stay on top of it. But there was an iRacing update today. I just downloaded it before this broadcast, and sometimes it messes with things. So I apologize for that. Hopefully we can get it working, and hopefully it stays working as this race goes along. But G out there on the racetrack right now, Maxwell Castro, Philip Scott, Chris Darling, James Miller, Joshua Sobel, your top five. The 56 machine just working his way into the top five here tonight for the first time. We're also hearing that Mike Floppy Tellier is on pit road, the Flat Out Racing Network Toyota Supra, and that's not his pit box. He's going to jump to the pits. His night might be done for the 97.
That's a shame to see Mike retire this early in the night. I was actually curious if these guys were going to start to try to undercut this run and get some fresh tires and try to gain some track position, and I thought maybe that was the strategy Mike was playing, but it looks like he took the number 97 to the garage there, Peter.
Yeah, the number 97 is in the garage, unfortunately, as the number 15 is your race leader, Philip Scott, there in second, and Scott is closing in on Maxwell Castro. Let's see if we can bring up kind of the last few laps between your top drivers here so we can get an indication on just how fast Philip Scott is catching Maxwell Castro. Last time by about 0.3 of a second. Unbelievable. What about this lap? Another 1/10 of a second. So Philip Scott here, G, that number 99, he's hunting.
Absolutely, Peter. And Philip Scott is one of those guys that when we first met him, he was able to go fast, but he wasn't consistent, and he wasn't able to save his tires, and he had a lot to learn when it came to iRacing. But right now, Philip Scott's becoming one of the best drivers out there in this National Sim Racing Association. And it's incredible that this far into a run, he has enough tire to start running the leader down as much as he has been.
Getting word that something has happened to the number 22 machine of Race Clark, the National Air and Space Administration, who has had a rather tumultuous start to the season. And I say that, but Race Clark is sitting 5th place in the point standings entering into tonight. Let's see if we can see what happened. Ooh, Glenn Grimm just pushes up the racetrack right into the side of the 22 machine and completely wallops the right side of that Ford Mustang. You can see it, broken suspension for Race Clark, nothing he can do. And, well, sorry about that, folks. We'll get another look at that. I left that graphic up a little bit too long. It's just not been my night here on 3 Wide TV trying to fix these graphics. Let's dial that up. But something definitely happened right there. There's the contact. Pushes Race up into the wall, Garrett. And unfortunately for Race Clark, he got, you see all that damage. Just that 22 is not driving straight anymore. And he called it quits. Night done for the 22 machine.
Yeah, tonight's not going to be the night for Race Clark to get his win in the series, Peter. But his loss is going to be somebody else's opportunity. That's one less car you have to pass out there and one less contender. But as we go back to the battle here between Max Castro and Philip Scott, which seems to have leveled off a bit.
Yeah, so the race lead is about 1 second. Meanwhile, we got these drivers back here battling for position. You can see their lap time history, and looks like Jeff Price is closing in on the 08 machine. Price, who started this race in the 20th position, just trying to make that pass for 8th right now. Going to try and track down Drew Eisenman as he clears the 08 machine. Of course, the 08 involved in that contact just a while ago with Race Clark, but we have been green flag in the opening 26 laps, closing in on the halfway mark. And G, I think you said that this was when you started to when you expected to start to see pit stops here for the first time tonight.
Yeah, unless they lied to me, Peter, which is certainly possible. They like to make me look foolish out here, but they told me somewhere 25 laps, 29 laps, somewhere in that range, we were starting to see pit stops, perhaps in a pack. Oh, look at that. Philip Scott's pulling the pit road, amongst others, Peter.
Yeah, so the 11 coming down pit road, the 99 coming down pit road with him. So there's Philip Scott, Chris Darling back behind him coming on pit road, Justin White on pit road as well. So pit road is open, as it looks like Travis White there might have just killed the commitment cone. That could be a penalty on the Carolina number 23 Chevy Camaro. We'll see how that all shakes out, but the first time we've seen these drivers on pit road, Chris Darling already leaving his pit box, the number 90. Oh, wait, what? No. What was Chris Darling doing there, G? It looked like he was in 100% the wrong pit box. Something must have happened to the driver of the Taz Racing Customs machine.
Peter, I'm not here to break any news, but I think his good friend Eric Estep was actually in that other pit box, and he just stopped to say hello to him. That must have been it.
Let's see here. He's coming down pit road. Sees the MaxGrafix logo right there. Of course, Chris Darling usually driving a MaxGrafix. He just stopped in the wrong pit box. He saw Ben Mashburn's pit box and thought Ben Mashburn's pit box was his own. It even says Chris Darling up there, and it was just the wrong pit box. You're at the wrong track, Chris. We have seen Chris Darling make all types. This is two identical pit signs. I think Ben Mashburn's trying to cause problems out there for the number 11 machine of Darling. Two identical pit boxes, two identical pit signs, and that's going to severely hurt the number 11 Taz Racing Customs machine of Chris Darling, as the ticker at the top of the screen is broken again. But just for comparison, folks, Chris Darling had a 58-second pit road time. That is 20 seconds. Yes, 20 seconds longer than Stephen Ford. Of course, he just passed Stephen Ford, but that is absolutely dreadful for Chris Darling.
Yeah, Chris Darling's a veteran of sim racing, and it's something you don't expect him to do, but Chris and I were actually talking before the race, Peter, and I was telling him how I screwed up Jason Shu's pit board, and Jason kept missing his pit stall, and Chris said, yeah, I do that all the time. Well, Peter, little did he know that tonight would be a night where two cars that he painted had identical pit boards, and he just missed his stall, and it's going to cost him big time. But still plenty of time to recover for Chris Darling.
I mean, I guess if it's any consolation, folks, MaxGrafix.co, which was on that pit board, is Chris Darling's sponsor and the business that he owns. So he did give his own company more TV time, if there's any solace in that. But right now, Maxwell Castro trying to go back-to-back here in the Beer Street Journal Grand National Series. Won, of course, last week on the road course at Sonoma. A fantastic run by the number 15 machine. I thought he was down and out in that one, but so far leading almost every lap here tonight. Not quite, with the pit cycle happening just a little while ago. Maxwell Castro pitted on lap number 27 here tonight, so Garrett will have to keep that in our back pocket, because 27 times 3 is 81. So looks like Maxwell Castro trying to split this race up into two separate pit stops, of course, assuming this race goes caution-free to the end. Already caution-free. We're about 9 laps away from the halfway distance here in the Beer Street Journal Grand National Series. Atlanta 120 here tonight. Big shout-out to them, as well as the other series sponsors. Of course, we got Brookstone Animal Hospital supporting our lucky dog here in the National Sim Racing Association. Our friends over at craigsetupshop.co.uk, which sponsors the pole shootout, and really everyone who pulls together Taz Racing Customs, Biggest Mover of the Race Award. Some really cool people here in the National Sim Racing Association, and we really appreciate them. Usually we see Beer Street Journal in the chat. We do have Stay Tuned Sports podcast in the chat. There's a link to their Podbean in the description as well if you want to listen to their podcast here this week. But your top three have kind of broken out just a little bit here, G. There's Castro, there's Scott, there's James Miller now riding in third. Then you got John Freeman and Josh Sobel battling it out for position, and the field all working their way on by the digger cam right here in turn number 3. Let's check out that Josh Sobel battle. Probably the best battle on the position right now. John Freeman here and Josh Sobel battling for the 4th position.
Yeah, good battle here between these two very talented drivers out there. And as we saw with the battle for the lead, these guys are running slightly different lines, although they stayed pretty much nose to tail there. But let's see as they go into 3 here if there's any difference. And Josh is a little bit higher. We'll see if that helps him get the momentum off. But Peter, just to go back to your comment about the sponsors in this league, not only does this league have great sponsors, Beer Street Journal, Stay Tuned Sports, and you went through all of them, MaxGrafix, Simbox, they have great administrators who are out there looking for talented drivers, recruiting talented drivers, putting a good series together, and developing drivers. And that's what's helping this league have the sustainability it has, and they're doing a great job. So I just wanted to give them props on that.
Yeah, so we continue to watch this battle. Now you can see, folks, that where it says L27 and L28, that's when these drivers were last on pit road. So John Freeman was last on pit road on lap number 27. Josh Sobel, Drew Eisenman went 1 lap longer in both of their cars. So presumably fresher tires might help Josh Sobel make this pass, but we have seen here tonight that it is very, very difficult to make a pass. There's Drew Eisenman coming into the picture, who will bring up the point standings once again. Drew Eisenman, Garrett, is the top-ranking driver yet to win here this season. Jason Gracias, 2 wins to his name. Matt Cherry, 2 wins to his name. Chris Darling, 1 win to his name. And then comes Drew Eisenman. Of course, last week's race winner, who's currently leading the race right now, Maxwell Castro. There's a question on whether or not the 15 will make the playoffs, or not necessarily the playoffs, but the chase for the Beer Street Journal Grand National Series title. Because of the number of starts. You have to start X number of races to be eligible to make it into the chase for the championship. But Gracias, Cherry, and Darling, those drivers expected to be in based off of wins as of right now. But I say that, but one of those drivers is not here tonight in the number 1 machine. As you see, the number 56 finally get to the inside of John Freeman, and Josh Sobel now up into the top 4 for the first time here tonight in the pink breast cancer awareness scheme on the 56 here tonight, as Drew Eisenman now starting to close in on these two.
Yeah, that was a good pass there by Josh, and we'll see if he can put some distance between them as he moves forward here. But Drew Eisenman creeping up there into near the top 5, and he definitely has run well enough this season to have a win. As you said, he's the furthest up in points without a win. Jason Gracias, Matt Cherry not here tonight, so that's 2 people that he'd normally be in competition with that he doesn't have to beat. So we'll see if he could pull it off.
Meanwhile, side-by-side battle for second. James Miller just got around Philip Scott. So the 09 now sliding up into the second position for the first time here tonight. James Miller pitted on lap number 28, so he pitted here, Garrett, 1 lap after the race leader, Maxwell Castro, also pitted 2 laps after Philip Scott. So definitely fresher tires on the 09 machine. Can he use that to his advantage here? As the lap count winds down, we'll be halfway. Cross flags this time by.
Oh, I can't believe it's halfway already, Peter. We haven't had time to breathe at this point, and we just had a good battle for second place, but nobody's been able to touch Maxwell Castro. We're going to see now if finally we have the right car in second place to track him down.
Brady Smith on the inside here of the number 3/number 85 is Zach Howell. They're racing right now just for the 10th position. Looks like Brady Smith will be able to scoot on by fresher tires by 2 laps on the number 10 John Deere. Nothing runs like a Deere Toyota Supra right there. I don't know if I really think he should rebadge that Toyota Supra as a John Deere tractor or something, just because nothing runs like a Deere. Isn't that right, G?
That's what they say, Peter. I don't know if we're infringing on anyone's trademark and we have to pay for it, but yeah, I'd like to see a little more green, I think, in that paint scheme, maybe with some yellow lettering. Maybe we can get MaxGrafix to work on it for him for next week.
Well, the number 10 working his way through turn number 3 and 4 right now, and going to try and close in on the 9th place driver. Speaking of the MaxGrafix machine, well, the MaxGrafix 24 machine of Ben Mashburn's right there in front of Mr. MaxGrafix.co himself. That's the Taz Racing Customs 11 Chevy Camaro of Chris Darling. Of course, we saw what happened to Ben Mashburn earlier in the race. He is 1 lap down in his Chevy Camaro. All types of damage on that machine here. Looks like Darling able to scoot on by. Darling right now running behind Justin White in the Chevrolet. That's right, Chevrolet on the hood. So it's kind of a double dose of Chevrolet for the number 2 Chevy Camaro. But right now, Justin's found himself solidly in the top 10 in the 8th spot, about 4 seconds behind Jeff Price, who's the biggest mover of the race so far. But look at this. James Miller not able to pull away from Philip Scott. Maybe the National Ninja League Ford Mustang can come back at the Toyota Supra driven by James Miller here as the lap count continues to wind down, and we're going to come around here this time. Just 36 laps to go at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Peter, are you feeling the nostalgia I'm feeling seeing the number 99 Ford run that high line here? Like Carl Edwards of old? Philip Scott has all the talent in the world. He could definitely pull off a Carl Edwards type win here. But he seems to be finding that sweet spot on tires where he really likes the way his car is handling out there, and he's battling back here for second place.
And you can correct me if I'm wrong here, G, but Philip Scott historically has been one of those drivers who goes out there and mows through his tires. Just plows through his tires. Tires are worn by lap 10. He starts dropping back in the field. He has really learned over the last couple of months here in the iRacing.com simulator to save his tires and worry about the long run. He's starting to finally turn that corner where he's not erasing people extremely aggressively, and he's saving tires in doing so. Here we are in the middle of a long run. He's getting around a very talented Canadian driver there in James Miller. Looks like he might complete this pass out of turn number 4. No, here comes Miller around the high side. I spoke too soon. But Philip Scott here, I think he's really starting to turn a page in his iRacing career.
Yeah, I would agree, Peter, and that's why I said that about same point about 20 laps ago. I'm glad you're here with me, but
sometimes you just have to see it from two different angles. A lot's happening out there on the racetrack, G. I can't stay on top of all these storylines, I tell you what, as we now got 34 laps to go. But Philip Scott will make that pass. Really impressed with him, and he's going to really close in. I think he's going to try and close in on the race leader. Current race lead is about 1.8 seconds, which is about where it's been now for about the last 20 or so laps. Maxwell Castro not really extending that lead, but Philip Scott started started fifth. Now running in second. The 09 of James Miller, he started in sixth. Now running up there in third. Josh Sobel started in eighth. Now running in fourth. So a couple of movers up near the front of the field. Maybe didn't get exactly the lap time they were hoping for in the qualifying session, but they're having a good run of it here in this 120-mile race. A sprint, I would say, here tonight at Atlanta, G.
Peter, I'm having way too much fun in the chat. Jimbo's starting a petition to get me fired, and it's just nonstop action on the track. And let's give a shout out here to Justin White, who was involved in that semi-incident with Mike Floppy Tellier. And he's just out there, like you said, putting a solid run together. And him and Chris Darling, no surprise to see these guys near each other on track. Just a little bit further back in the pack than what we saw at Texas.
Well, the official poll is going up, G. In fact, it just got posted. So the official poll here is to fire Garrett. I can't say whether or not I will stick to the poll or not, but if you want to vote in the chat here on 3Wide TV, of course, all of us up here in the booth, we always have a good time. We're always having a lot of fun, so I don't really care whichever way you vote, but vote however you feel. And G, to your credit right now, no is winning.
I vote yes.
You voted yes? Okay. Well, there you go, folks. You've heard it from the man himself. So if you feel inclined, vote yes with Garrett himself. But we can't lose. I can't lose Garrett. Then it'd just be me talking for 80 laps, and I don't think you guys want that at all in the chat, because then you just get a whole bunch of nonsense. As we work lap number 50 here. Here's a battle between Glenn Grimm and Brady Smith. We've seen these two battle earlier in the show as well. Brady has that 10th spot. Glenn Grimm wants the 10th spot. Johnny has said he's already voted to keep Drew Gleason. Yeah, that's right, Drew Gleason. I think we should fire Garrett Gleason, but maybe we'll keep Drew Gleason. That might make my job a little bit easier. I only have to remember one name here on Thursday and Friday nights. So I don't know, even Monday nights, because Garrett, you do Monday nights with me here on 3Wide TV as well. William Kerwin says, I'm on standby, Peter, if you do. Yeah, of course, William has been up here in the 3Wide TV booth as well at times in the past. Rich Sobel says your vote is voided, G. And now, yes, it has swung to yes. So this is exciting. We got excitement out here, battle for 10th right now on the racetrack. But as I say that, G, looks like we got drivers coming down pit road led by Chris Darling and Zach Howell. Now, Darling, do not miss your pit boxes. No, don't. Okay. Whew. Woo! He passed the other pit stop, or the pit box, excuse me. Here he is. He's come.
Oh no.
That's embarrassing, folks. I don't know about that one. But, F in the chat for that? Can I get an F in the chat for that? Please. Chris Darling. Yeah. There are times when, as a commentator, you just have to look at it and go, well, that happened. Anyway, that did happen. And that happened on pit road. Meanwhile, we got other drivers out there on the racetrack. Looks like we're getting F's in the chat. Thank you, guys. That's for Chris Darling. F to pay respects. That's how it's all behind. Garrett is still, and it's now at 62%. Man, Garrett, Ted has really swung against you there, buddy. Maybe we'll get Drew Gleason up here in the booth. But race leader Maxwell Castro, he's coming down pit road. Ooh, just barely making it on pit road, just making it past that commitment cone. And Philip Scott did a great job of closing in there. He had, I think, got it up to second. Meanwhile, I'm hearing that something has happened to Zach Howell. Check out the 3-wide TV replay.
Yeah, I was very impressed with Philip Scott's pit entry there and Maxwell Castro too, but Philip gained a lot of time there, and I'm hoping nobody sped. But Zach Howell on the apron here. Let's see what happens. And, yep, the old rear end did not want to follow the front end through there and make some contact with the inside wall and the cone, and the number 3/number whatever he is, probably taking it to the garage.
Well, I will say great kickflip of the blue cone. 10 out of 10 for the kickflip of the blue cone, but fortunately, that usually is not a good sign if you're kickflipping the blue cone. Meanwhile, out there, the number 15 of Maxwell Castro is hustling to get himself back up onto the racetrack. He's lost quite a bit of time to Philip Scott, but they all pitted on the same lap, so they're all on equal footing now. But look at the 04 machine. Right there is John Freeman. Now he's going to bleed off the racetrack and head down to pit road, so he will relinquish the race lead. Glenn Grimm will inherit the race lead. He's just now coming through turn number 3 and 4 right now, and if he elects to stay out, no, he's coming down pit road, so he will come down. Steven Lashinsky, will he take the race lead? No, he's coming down pit road, so I think that will pretty much cycle us through the pit cycle. Maxwell Castro will again resume the race lead, but a really sketchy pit stop. But Garrett. We are coming to what was the final pit stop, and we are coming to now just 23 laps to go here in just a little bit.
Yeah, Peter, that should be the final pit stop if we stay green. And with some of these guys staying out, like this is probably one of the few tracks that, not that one of the few, but one of the tracks you least want to stay out on old tires at, because you will absolutely get killed on speed. So I'm not surprised that everybody pretty much pitted in a couple lap window there, got their final service done, and now we're headed towards the checkered flag. And tremendous job so far keeping this race green, and looks like our second place is closing in on our leader.
The Maxwell Castro, yeah, you say that, but he just ran a 32.18, one of the fastest laps here tonight. James Miller, however, oh man, look at the 27 machine. Holy smokes, that was close coming out of turn number 2. And Stephen Ford gets a little bit loose right in front of Philip Scott. James Miller now all over the back bumper of the number 15. A little bit of right side damage I'm seeing on the 09 machine. That's been there for a little while. I noticed that during that last green flag run when Philip Scott had caught up to the back of the 09 machine. But here, James Miller trying to go for broke here early in the run. 22 laps to go at Atlanta Motor Speedway. That is only 33 miles. Of course, with an average speed of upwards 165 miles an hour, these laps will click off very, very quickly. Austin Smith in the chat saying, let's go, Brandon. How about that? Garrett, I'm sorry, the tribe has spoken. 2/3 of the people in the chat here tonight voting to fire Garrett. Actually, I don't know if I can say that because I have 66% and 33%. There's a missing 1% there if you do the math. I don't know why it doesn't add up. Come on, YouTube. You need to work on your rounding there or something. But all for fun. I'm not firing Garrett. He'll be here next week, presumably. We'll see. Definitely a good battle out there for the race lead, but looks like Maxwell Castro doing all he can to hold on to that said race lead in his number 15 machine out front.
Yeah, Peter, I'm keeping an eye here on the 09 and the 99 to see if Philip Scott's 99 comes to life here as this run goes on and he can make the pass for second place, because I think the 09 may have taken his chance at passing Max there with the fresh tires. He felt that was his best shot, and it looks like he's making a run here on the high side, and he'll prove me wrong, but I thought perhaps he wasn't able to get there and he was going to back off a little bit.
Yeah, look how close these folks are running to the wall here tonight. Gee, I wasn't expecting the high line to be so fast here tonight, but sure enough, it has been. We do have a question in the chat. What happened to Josh Sobel? He's still there. He's running in the 4th position. So a good, solid run for the number 56 machine here tonight, but he is kind of off the top 3 a ways. He's right now about 4 seconds behind Philip Scott. And we are hearing again something has happened to the Dale Earnhardt Jr. throwback, the Oreo machine of Zach Howell on the inside of the racetrack. This is not going to bring out a caution flag, and that might be a blown motor on the number 3, which is the number 85 on your ticker at the top of the screen. He just brings it to a halt. His night will be done. He just got passed by Jason Shue for the 16th position out there on the racetrack. Let's go back live at the battle for the race lead. Your top 3 right now, Castro, Miller, and the number 99 there of Philip Scott at the top of your screen. All to play for here as we're coming to 17 laps to go. Brantley Roden says, uh-oh, here comes the cautions. We'll see here tonight. Garrett, so far, caution-free in the opening 63 laps. Very impressive.
That's very impressive, and I'm not surprised. This is what this series is capable of. These guys are tremendously talented, and look at the battle we have for the lead. As if that's any indication of the racing that we're going to continue to get in this series, the sky is the limit. And Philip Scott looking to the inside for P2.
Yeah, here comes Philip Scott. We've seen a lot of long run pace for the 99, and sure enough, he's going to make that pass stick like that. A little bit of a slide job in front of the 09 of James Miller. Miller here might be giving him a bump draft down the backstretch. They might be working together here to gang up a little bit on Maxwell Castro as the lap count winds down. Philip Scott here in, I think, a really good position, G. That number 99, we've seen him really good on the long run. This is as close as we have seen him all night long to the number 15 machine. Remember, wasn't up there at the start of the race because of the fact that he started back in the 5th position, and Castro kind of scooted away in the early running. Now the 99's run him down. It's all to play for here. 15 laps to go. We could be in for one heck of a finish. I know you've already alluded to the days of Carl Edwards here at Atlanta, but maybe that's what Philip Scott has in mind as he closes in on the back of that Chevy Camaro.
Well, Peter, with not to take anything away from Max Castro, but if Philip Scott ends up winning this race, I am going to have to call off work for tomorrow morning because we will still be interviewing him at 6 a.m., but it will be the happiest experience of my life as he looks for the lead here, and let's see if he can pull it off. I just don't think he's quite there yet, Peter.
Meanwhile, back behind, we got Jeff Price and Drew Eisenman battling for the 5th position as well. So there is Jeff Price, who started back in 20th spot, and he's going to pick up that spot for 5th. Meanwhile, back at the front, you saw Philip Scott to try and get to the race lead, but could not quite pull it off. So he's now slotted back in line behind Maxwell Castro. He's a little bit further back than where he was one lap ago. 13 more to play here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. We're down to now just about 20 miles or so left to go. Rich Sobel saying, now I see it. Sorry, Peter. Yep, he's in the 4th position. Here comes the 99 once again, diving to the inside as they head through turns number 3 and 4. Can the number 99 find some grip down there? It seems like there's just not a lot of grip down there by that white line, and Castro holds on.
Yeah, that was a tremendous run there by Philip, but I just don't think he had position on him. He's going to probably have to overdrive it here in 1 and hope to slide up, and he's just not there yet, Peter.
Very close, but Scott has to back out of it. Like you said there, Garrett, he definitely overdrove the corner, got very tight, slid up the racetrack, but was not clear of the number 15. Great heads-up driving from the National Ninja League, number 99, and there he is again sliding up the racetrack. That inside line just has absolutely no grip here, as they're going to be side by side coming out of turn number 4. My, oh my, if you could only imagine that was the finish here tonight. That would have been so close, but this is as good as a run we have seen for the number 99 of Philip Scott. He's going to slide up the racetrack. New race leader, but here comes Castro with a full head of steam in the number 15, but Scott hits the wall out of turn number 2.
Oh man, what an impressive pass by Philip Scott, and he's going to end up giving it back, and hopefully the damage isn't too much and he's able to make another run at him. But Maxwell Castro did exactly what he had to do there. He made Philip drive it in deep and overdrive the corner, and Max has a bigger lead than when he started, so that all worked out for him.
Now Philip has all that right side damage he's going to have to contend with as well, Garrett. You and I know on a track like this, which is very high speed, a lot of downforce needed, just a little bit of right side damage can absolutely kill the pace of your race car, and Scott's going to have to deal with that for the rest of the race. I think that's exactly what happened or something similar must have happened to James Miller in the 09 machine, because he's got right side damage in his Toyota Supra, and he's been nursing that now for quite some time. But this is, I would say, definitely a big advantage now to your race leader, the number 15, to Maxwell Castro.
Yeah, I think at this point, Peter, Maxwell Castro just wants this race to finish under green flag, doesn't want any yellow to come out, nobody to be able to go get their damage fixed and fresh tires, and feels like he can pretty much count this one as a win if it stays green. But what a heartbreaker if this is truly it for Philip Scott. It seemed like he had that pass, Peter, and like, I don't know, just watching it, I really thought that was going to be our race-winning pass.
Yeah, I thought so as well. Philip was as close as he had been, that's for sure, to getting that way. I didn't think he was going to catch the wall either. This is a battle a little bit further back in the pack for the 13th spot. Ben Mashburn and Travis White both finding themselves one lap down. They are fighting tooth and nail for every spot they can get. Of course, every point matters here in the Beer Street Journal Grand National Series. Of course, big shout out to them. If you haven't checked out beerstreetjournal.com, make sure you do so here tonight before the night is over. These two still side by side down the backstretch, racing their way now off into turn number 4. Looks like Mashburn is going to take that spot as they have Steven Lashinsky. They're about a full lap ahead of them, unfortunately, but it's like Mashburn maybe a little bit faster than Lashinsky at this particular stage of the run. Let's go back and look at that battle for the race lead as Max Castro holding on to about a 0.7 of a second lead, and looks like James Miller might be closing in on Philip Scott as well. But I don't think the number 15 has really put a step wrong, besides the fact that he had a rough pit road entry that last time for his second pit stop, but he's kept it off the wall, and I think that's going to pay dividends at the end of the night.
Yeah, consistency is key, Peter, as we've seen with a lot of our champions that we've broadcasted and a lot of our race winners. If you could just keep your car clean and don't make the least amount of mistakes out there, you're going to put yourself in position to win, and that's exactly what Maxwell Castro has done 2 weeks in a row. But like we said, anything can happen. We still got 6 laps to go, coming to 5 to go.
Yeah, coming around to 5 laps to go. You are right, and Philip Scott still holding on to second. Going to be interesting to hear what he has to say after the race, but I think that a race win might have just slipped out of his grasp. Meanwhile, this battle that has been raging, it's now for the 9th position between Glenn Grimm and Brady Smith after Chris Darling had his moment on pit road and has since retired the number 11 Taz Racing Customs machine. Brady still holding on to the back of Glenn Grimm just a little bit, although Grimm just made that pass for the 9th position, starting to pull away. But now we'll keep our eyes on the battle for second here, G, because the number 99 of Philip Scott, with all that damage that he just accrued a couple laps ago, James Miller has caught up to the back bumper of the number 99 machine.
Yeah, Philip did a good job holding on to second place for as long as he has with that damage. I think he hit the wall a lot harder than it looked, and Peter, correct me if I'm wrong, that damage would make him even tighter with it. And 3rd place into the wall there, Peter, before I even get to finish my point.
Yeah, so maybe that's going to balance it out between James Miller and the number 99 machine, but of course that's going to bring this man right here up into the picture. Just 3 laps to go, and Josh Sobel in his number 56 machine as the 09 gets into the wall again. Sobel going to have a good run here down the backstretch. They're going to be side by side as they head towards turn number 3, G.
Yeah, Josh looking to cap off a good, consistent run here in Atlanta, and that's pretty much what he's shooting for nowadays. He seems to have bad luck no matter where he goes, and if he could pull this finish off, I think his father's going to be happy with the finish, and I think Josh is going to be happy.
Yeah, it's been a quiet night for the number 56 of Josh Sobel. He has picked his passes. We'll just say that as the race has gone on, it looks like he not quite able to clear the 09 of James Miller. Miller with that high line going to get all the momentum here down the backstretch. They're still going to be side by side here, Garrett, but the 56 of Sobel having a hard time using that inside line. There's just been no grip, zero grip on that inside line to make a pass. He's going to try sending it off into turn number 3, not able to do so. Starts sliding up the racetrack. Miller going to defend on the high line, getting so close to the wall. White flag is in the air for these two.
White flag's in the air. That is our best battle out there on track. And you were right about Miller when you gave him the show at the beginning of the race that he had speed, and he's looking to hold on to that third position in his debut here in the NSRA Beer Street Journal Grand National Series.
So the number 15 machine working his way down the backstretch. Looks like the Miller has finally gotten in front of the number 56 machine, but Sobel's going to take a dive one more time to the inside. We're going to work our way coming out of the final corner. Checkered flag is in the air. It will be the number 15 Maxwell Castro going to victory lane. It looks like the 09 machine, James Miller, going to hold on to third. Philip Scott coming home in second here tonight, and this looks like Drew Eisenman is going to get the 7th spot. John Freeman 6th. Jeff Price 5th here tonight, and what a zany race it was here tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Caution free. No cautions all night long. Can you believe that, Garrett?
No, Peter, I can't believe that. So we saw on our broadcast on Monday a tight setup at Atlanta. It led to a lot of cautions, but these guys here over at NSRA did a tremendous job having a caution-free 80 laps, and Maxwell Castro, your winner here, is going to start doing his burnouts. Like you said, he did not put a tire wrong, a wheel wrong all night long, and it pays off with the victory.
So he's going to do burnouts here on the inside of the front stretch and give the fans a little bit of tire smoke to ingest right there. So good run for the number 15 machine here tonight, holding off Philip Scott. A spirited charge from the number 99 machine. They're coming home in second. What could have been there, Garrett? What a finish it could have been if the 99 did not clip the wall. I mean, we saw a great battle there for third at the end of the race. Some good hard racing here tonight in the National Sim Racing Association Beer Street Journal Grand National Series.
Yeah, tremendous racing, Peter, throughout the field, and these guys raced each other with respect out there. You saw guys pushing up, but they pushed up just enough to not hit the person that was on the outside of them, and that's what you're looking for when you're trying to develop a series that's going to be as successful as this Beer Street Journal Grand National Series. You want guys to have respect. You're racing with each other week after week for the most part. You know that you're going to see that person next week. You don't want any animosity between you. Race them clean, and that's what everyone did out there tonight. Good job to the entire starting field.
Yeah, that's for sure. So last week we were not able to get an interview with your race winner, the number 15, of Maxwell Castro. We'll see whether or not whether or not we're able to here tonight. But let's see if we can dive straight in to our post-race interviews, starting with our third place finisher, the Canadian driver of the 09 machine, finishing in on the podium in his first career start. How about that? That's 1 for 1. James Miller, Peter Short, 3 Wide TV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Well, I'll tell you what, a really strong run. I expected you to be fast out there here tonight, coming up just a little bit short. You were nursing some right side damage on your Toyota Supra here tonight. Tell us about how you think that might have affected your night and how your first race here in the National Sim Racing Association went.
Well, I gotta say, for a first race, that was a blast. That was a lot of fun. Was not expecting the three of us to pit at the same time there at the end and just race each other all the way to the end. That was a blast. But yeah, not the best on a tight set, which that set was on the tighter side. I was not expecting us to run the wall to be fast, and then that too, I need to definitely work on running the wall better because, like you said, I beat up the right side a bit and I think it was starting to affect it. But I was just burning the right front off, plowing in too hard, and overdriving it too early on. So I was trying to pressure Max there right after the pit stop, and then I tried to back off, save some tires if I could, which was kind of working, but still was pushing too hard at the end, and the back was starting to kick out. But yeah, that was a fun race with the three of us. It even made I'm not sure his name, but the 56 catch us at the end there, and I had to battle him for third. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely a fun race. I know you mentioned it's a tight setup, at least from my personal experience. Tight race cars usually leads to quite a few cautions, but here tonight, green flag. Tell us about your thoughts on that. I know it made for an exciting race there for you at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I got to be honest, I wasn't expecting it to go green the whole way, but still was working on trying to figure out when to pit, what would be best if it did go green, which it did. So fortunate for that. Just yeah, I am surprised, but it definitely shows there's a good group of guys here.
Absolutely. Well, one start here in the Beer Street Journal Grand National Series and one podium for you, James. The next week we go to Martinsville, which is quite a bit different here from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Hopefully, we'll see you at Martinsville, so let us know if you will or not. But secondly, what are your thoughts about the short track?
Yeah, I for sure will be at Martinsville. Personally, short tracks are definitely more of my style. But it might be a bit aggressive, especially with these guys coming close to playoffs. So I'll do my best to stay out of the way and not cause any drama, because I don't want to be that guy. But once you get in the car and start racing and get everyone around you, things happen. So try not to cause any crashes or accidents. But I'm gonna assume we're not gonna go green the whole way at Martinsville. That would be impressive, but look forward to it. Should go good. Just hope my quote unquote teammates have a better luck there than they did here today.
Yeah, I have yet to broadcast a caution-free race at Martinsville here on 3Wide TV, so I would not put money on that next week. But before you go here tonight, James, anyone you want to give a shout-out to?
Yeah, just Josh, Corey, Brady, Drew, and Race for sort of inviting me, let me watch for a bit there for first half of the season, and then hanging out with me during the race. And congrats to Max for winning there.
Well, congratulations on your first career podium here in the National Sim Racing Association. We'll see you next week in Martinsville.
All right, thank you.
All right, folks, that's going to do it here for tonight's third place finisher driver of the 09 machine, James Miller. And I believe that Drew Gleason, a.k.a. Garrett Gleason, has caught up with his good buddy, Philip Scott.
Well, Philip Scott, a little bit of another heartbreaker, another race with another heartbreaker here on 3Y TV. You seem to have a lot of pace on old tires tonight. Obviously not the finish you wanted there at the end with getting into the wall. Just take us through your night and what happened there at the end.
Yeah, that was, I gotta say, Max, that was just an incredible battle with him. That was so fun. Now, like, I can't be too upset with today. I wanted to avenge what happened on Monday night, and I'm glad I did to some degree. I was really fast. I'm kind of sometimes I kind of catch myself being like really shocked I have long run pace now. Like I used to just burn up stuff really easily, and then I just started to figure it out, and something just clicked, and it's just so weird, like being faster than people. It feels weird. It doesn't feel right, like you're racing. I'm like, why am I going faster? I don't know. But yeah, I knew the only way I was going to get by I was faster than Max, but I knew with the old tires, the only way to get by was with a slider. I made it stick at first, then I just barely got a tiny bit of my fender into the wall, and that cost me a couple tenths, and then I thought I could catch back up, but then the 9 car the lap car just decided to clear himself in front of me. I know he was giving Max was tough time too, but he was keeping him on the inside, he was staying on the inside, which made it easier for Max to keep his lead. So I wasn't too happy with the 9. I know though it's fair play. Like lap cars can do whatever they want, but and so I gave him a little nudge at the end, like, "Hey, I won't forget this." But I know that's he's allowed to do that, but it's still just like when you're in the race, when you're trying to get your first like oval win in like any series, it's kind of it's frustrating when that happens. But at the same time, I'm really proud of my race, and that was awesome battle for the win.
Yeah, you did a tremendous job out there. You definitely were one of the more exciting cars to watch out there. Just real quick, for those that are in the chat who didn't get the race tonight, what was the key to being fast here at Atlanta? Like, how did you drive the setup out there?
So you just have to be patient. Keep it on so it was I really love this track because it's old school. I mean, it's a shame that it's going to be repaved, but I am looking forward to the new version of it. But thankfully, with iRacing, we can run both. Anyway, you had to master the grooves, know where to go when your tires were at a certain stage. I know Max was running the high line like the whole time. I found it a little faster to like kind of go mid-low at the beginning. But in 3 and 4, the big key, that was a big key for speed. You had to just really be patient. It was tight. Just make sure that you got to get the car just perfect. Just get the good drive off. Don't get on the gas too early. But it's like a really fine margin, because if you go a little too early, you're going to plow into the wall. If you go too late, you're going to lose a few tenths because you didn't pick up the throttle. So yeah. And the other big key obviously is 1 and 2 ride in the wall. I love riding the wall because it makes me feel like Kyle Larson. So.
Well, you're going with Kyle Larson. We were going with Carl Edwards because of the 99, and
oh yeah,
I know you're a fan of his. Philip, before we let you go, let you give your shout outs, but when it finally happens and you win a race, I can't wait to interview you, but let's hear your shout outs for your second place finish.
Yeah, obviously National Ninja League. We got 4 Halloween themed competitions coming up, and also Deary's Gymnastics Supply, gymsupply.com. They've been a partner for a long time. They build the world championship courses when we do them in the big convention centers with the seat, like the big stadium seating. And then they're going to do that again in April. We haven't done like a full proper announcement, but yeah, it'll be a lot of fun working with them again. And I'm part of the course design team, so yeah, it'll be fun.
Well, congratulations on second place. Give them hell tomorrow. Maybe Bristol will be your track. I don't know if we have our race winner, Peter, but if not, it's back to you.
Yeah, all right. Let's see if we can. We didn't get an interview with him last week. Maxwell Castro. Let's see if we can drag him up here into the 3-wide TV booth. Maxwell. Never mind. I think he just jumped back down into the interview waiting room. He tried dragging him up here into the 3-wide TV booth. Doesn't look like he is accepting an interview here tonight. Unfortunately, we'll have to see if we can figure out what is up with that. Maybe, let's try one more time. Maxwell Castro, Peter Short, 3-wide TV booth. Get a copy. All right. Well, folks, it doesn't look like we have Maxwell here tonight, unfortunately. So we will have to end it there. And Garrett, what a great race tonight here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Caution-free. Absolutely unbelievable. Let's see if we can bring up the final race results. However, here tonight. And for 120 miles here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, caution-free, Maxwell Castro, winner by a second and a half over Philip Scott. James Miller coming home third in his National Sim Racing Series Beer Street Journal Grand National Series debut. Josh Sobel coming home in fourth here tonight. Jeff Price rounding out a top five, solid top five, considering he started way back in the field in the 20th position, gained 15 spots to finish up there in fifth. So he is the Taz Racing Customs biggest mover of the race. Big shout out to him. Make sure you check out Taz Racing Customs for all your custom diecast needs. John Freeman coming home in sixth. Drew Eisenman rounding out your top seven. Justin White, Glenn Grimm, and Brady Smith all coming home with top 10 finishes here tonight, G.
Yeah, the top 10 all finished on the lead lap. Steven Lashinsky in 11th place, 1 lap down. Corey Shellman, 12th place, 2 laps down. Ben Mashburn, well, at least he found his pit sign, even though it said Chris Darling on. Comes home in 13th. Travis White, another not stellar run for him. I'm looking forward to him turning it around when he finally gets there. Stephen Ford finishes in 15th, and just a quick shout out to his teammate Jeffrey Vickery, who was having a sponge bath earlier today for some reason. So we'll probably get more into that on the forum.
I think his power was out or something like that, so he had to give himself a sponge bath like the good old days.
Oh, like on Red Dead Redemption where you pay the quarter and you get somebody to come help. Anyway, Peter, Jason Shue coming home in 16th position. Joshua Watt, 17th. Zach Howell in the 85/3 had all sorts of problems out there. Christopher Darling's already sending me a message about how he missed his pit stall. I said, you'll have to watch the broadcast and see how Peter and I felt about that. Race Clark and Mike Tellier, 2 guys with a lot of speed, round out our 21 cars that made the starts here tonight, Peter.
Yeah, definitely not the night that those drivers were hoping for here in the Beer Street Journal Grand National Series. Folks, if you haven't checked out Beer Street Journal Grand National Series, or beerstreetjournal.com, some really cool stuff out there. And, I gotta say, I am all for punny beer names. And one of those was the Monday Night Cardigans of the Galaxy Double IPA. Such a cool name. Make sure you check out beerstreetjournal.com here tonight before you sign off, because really, really cool. Great to have them as the sponsor here at the National Sim Racing Association. Make sure you check them out for all of your beer needs, as well as the other sponsors here in the National Sim Racing Association. Stay tuned sports. There's a link to their Podbean in the description. Of course, MaxGrafix.co. If you need a custom paint scheme here for iRacing, make sure to check them out. BrookstoneVet.com, Brookstone Animal Hospital, located in the greater Atlanta, Georgia area as well. So if you're in this neck of the woods, make sure you check them out for all of your pet hospital needs. Of course, Taz Racing Customs, we mentioned them. And of course, everyone else here in the National Sim Racing Association. But Garrett, we're short track racing next week.
We're short track racing tomorrow at Bristol in the Stay Tuned Sports Truck Series. Next week, we're headed to Martinsville, Peter, and I hope when we get there, you'll buy me a couple hot dogs from the stand.
I hear those hot dogs are really, really good. But I'll tell you what, folks, it's been a great race here tonight. Thank you very much for joining us here on 3 Wide TV. We'll see you again next week. Until then, stay safe, and we shall see ya.